In tonight's in-depth coverage, the contract between the Catholic Church and the state of Oklahoma to set up the nation's first ever publicly funded religious charter school is now canceled, but the debate is not over yet. The statewide virtual charter school board was told the state Supreme Court, who deemed the school unconstitutional in June, would not put its ruling on hold. The board had been waiting to see if the High Court would put its ruling on hold before it canceled the contract. And Attorney General Gentner Drummond said if the board did not cancel the contract at this meeting today, members could face jail or fines for violating a court order.
The motion would be, I move that, as directed by the Oklahoma Supreme Court in its writ of mandamus and declaratory relief issued on June 25th, 2024, the statewide charter school board hereby rescinds the charter contract.
By canceling the contract, if the school is ruled constitutional by the U.S. Supreme Court, the Catholic Church would have to start the application process over again to set up St. Isidore in the future, but board members said it could simply pick up where it left off. This cancellation does not mean this debate is over and done with by any means. In fact, some are hoping this is the next chapter in getting things started. A majority of the statewide charter school board members still want to partner with a conservative legal defense group and the Catholic Church to take the case to the U.S. Supreme Court. They argue Catholics are being discriminated against for not being allowed to set up the school. St. Isidore's founders say they will not enroll any students until all of this is sorted out, despite them wanting to start school this fall. The charter school board right now is in the process of hiring outside legal counsel because their current legal counsel is the Oklahoma Attorney General's office, who is opposed to establishing the school in the first place. They sued and won on the state level and will have to argue against the board if this goes to the U.S. Supreme Court. St. Isidore faces steep odds when it comes to actually having their case heard before the U.S. Supreme Court. Every year, the court is asked to hear thousands of cases, but they usually take up fewer than 100. If they reject the case, the Oklahoma Supreme Court's decision will stand. 4 of 9 justices must agree to take the case up. The Supreme Court's members, however, are overwhelmingly practicing Catholics, and that is why the founders of St. Isidore believe they have a small advantage to getting the case before the court. Keep in mind, and it may seem odd, but these are conservatives fighting with each other about what the First Amendment means. On one side, you have State Superintendent Ryan Walters, the board and the church saying this is about being able to freely practice your religion.
The reality is clear. Our students need more options. We have to be a leader in school choice, and we have to protect religious freedoms here in the state of Oklahoma.
Walters and others argue that public schools are not religiously neutral, but instead they are atheist in how they operate, and Catholic families need a religious option to guide their children. On this side of the argument is Catholics pay into the same pot as everyone else, and their money should go to a public Catholic school of some kind. Now, on the other side of this, you have those like Attorney General Gentner Drummond who say this arrangement would give preferential treatment to the Catholic Church and merges the church and the state together in ways never before seen in the U.S.
I appear today as the state's chief law officer to defend the separation of church and state, which a state-created and state-funded public religious school would all but eradicate.
Drummond points to parts of the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution that says an establishment of religion should not be respected, meaning if you do this for the Catholic Church, other religions like Islam can use public funds to set up their own schools as well and teach their views. He also points out that Oklahoma voters have repeatedly supported the section of the state constitution saying taxpayer funds cannot be used for religious purposes. Now, when it comes to Catholic families, Drummond actually argued before the state Supreme Court that Catholic families can currently use a voucher to help pay for private Catholic education at places like Bishop Kelly that you see there.